It's another week in the For Your Reference household, and we are back in the motherland. We haven't been here since Baba OT. Go and check out our Young, Rich, and African episode, friends and lovers. Let's get on with the show. Friends and primal lovers, welcome back to the For Your Reference podcast. You got your host Katie
and OT.
Stare at the beast of survival or legacy as we are guided by the Sweetie White Saviour. Take a bite out of the motherland with Beast this week. Woo-hoo-hoo. The least problematic Will at the Oscars, am I right? Shout outs to Will Packer right off the top. Let's get into general stats and information. And I managed to scribble some themes, and I'm very excited to talk about this, friends and lovers. In regards to director, we have the ever-loved and lauded Baltasar Komikor. In regards to writers, we have Ryan Engel, as well as Jaime Primac Sullivan for the story. Actors. Idris Elba is a well-known entity in the For Your Reference household, and he's obviously going to have his own section. Shout outs to the rest of the cast, Ayanna Haley, Leah Sava Jeffries, and the OG Sweetie Man, Shalto Copley.
Sweetie Man in the house.
Sweetie and still a savior, it seems. Spoiler. Sweetie Savior, Sweetie Savior, Sweetie Savior.
Wow.
Let's get into first impressions, OT. You know, it's nice to be situated back on the, as Burna Boy would say, the OG continent where everyone originated from. Let's talk about first impressions. What did you think of the film now that you've had some time to digest like the lion you are? How are you feeling, my love?
Oh, good. I thought I enjoyed the movie, seeing just... You know, it's been a while since we've seen a movie like this. You know, it reminded me of something like Ghost in the Darkness.
Yeah.
Which was about how people are building the railway through Savo. And
I wonder who they got to build the railways. Seems like a different topic, hey?
Yeah, that's a completely different topic altogether. And they were attacked by lions and all that. So it's been a minute since I've seen anything like this. And I was there for it. It was fun. It was enjoyable. And it didn't take itself seriously, which is a big proponent of what I've been enjoying lately. And it was fun. It was a fun day out in the cinemas.
Nice. But I would say, you know, I am an Idris gal. And if you are, you know, an OG of the For Your Reference household, you know I was holding the bastion for Idris Elba as James Bond. But, you know, in this anti-callous Game of Thrones, House of the Dragons world, I understand how this matrix works. But I kind of feel like Idris thrives in serious roles.
Okay.
And I guess we can talk about performances, but, you know, if anyone said I said this, if anyone tries to do a soundbite of this, I'll just say it was an audio deep fake.
You've been doing a lot of deep fakes lately then.
Don't worry about my subgenre, OT. Don't worry about how we pay for those electricity utility bills.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of, I guess the opposite contrast is I really enjoyed the isolation in this film. Like you said, it's been a while since we've watched something aside from Nope, because obviously that is a blockbuster. Go and check out Nope if you haven't already watched it. But this was a specific story that was being told, right? You've got the sort of domestics that are going on with Dr. Nate and his daughters, but you've got a very real, very tangible need for survival. And I think it really traversed a very nice sort of balance being in South Africa, right? There's a lot that I definitely want to talk about, but generally, yeah, you're right. I did enjoy it. I did feel like in regards to poaching, which surprise, welcome, have a seat, enjoy our Jupiter's cock of truth, friends and lovers. We're definitely going to talk about poaching. But I kind of wish that it dived a bit deeper. No one's saying it needed to, and I guess the film didn't really afford for the space for it to be deep, but you can't put in present a topic such as poaching and not go deep, right? It's like having 12 years of slave and then just looking at Fassbender the whole time.
I'm pretty sure there are people out there who would have preferred that movie altogether.
They got the Fassbender edit? Yeah, probably. So let's talk about the themes. Obviously, we'll talk about the characters, but there are some themes that I want to get into. And I want to talk about poaching. Personally, for me, and, OT, feel free to occupy all the space. But personally, I felt very, very like slum tourism travel brochure with the way they approached poaching in the film. Because, we can generally say poaching is bad, but then are we also addressing the volume of poaching is to actually meet a demand in the market? Like, are we going to have that conversation? Because if we're not, we're kind of just demonizing one side. Thoughts, our residential African black man?
Wow.
Well, you took the title in Young, Famous, and African, so. I
did. I didn't have a problem with how they approached poaching. I thought they raised the options out there. Like, they didn't spell it out for people, but they did bring some discussions around it, including anti-poachers as well. So it's not that they had to delve deep into the poaching world or try and say how bad or how good it is or the benefits for the community that engage in this, because they probably don't have any other choice to survive or feed their family. It's multi-nuanced, and it's not just, poaching is bad. It's things that a lot of the time people used as a tool back in the day, to trade, good old barter trade and stuff. So it's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept. But
the movie didn't afford it. That's what I'm saying.
Agreed. But they were looking at the more radical ways in which people poach nowadays, which has escalated. It's not off, let's do it for all, let's do it in a controlled manner where we're not just eradicating all the bloody elephants for no fucking reason. You don't have to kill a fucking elephant to get its tusks. It's shit like that.
Yeah, but like even if I can speak to it, I cringe at the thought of me being a tourist, but I am and I have been going to Kenya, and you go to elephant, orphanages, and there's a whole spiel about poaching without also acknowledging the market that is, you know what I mean? There's a reason why there are slum orphanages that aren't legitimate orphanages in Nepal and all around the world. Like, there's a reason why there is a supply of it, is because there's a demand for it. And I think, because we're real and we're going to talk about it, this is our frame of reference. Maybe it's because this wasn't written by African people. So the lens of it being like, these people are bad, it kind of casted a shadow on the overall sort of film. It felt like plucking an aesthetic, no stranger to like a Tarantinoism being like, I want to take D'Artagnan and I'm just going to do this.
I see where you're going. I can see that. But I think the purpose of this movie was to sort of not delve deeper into all those sort of issues.
But then why do it? That's what I'm saying.
More for the lighthearted, seeing lions fucking chew on people, entertainment value.
Well, haven't they seen the TV series La Braya? They could have just he could have stayed in the United States and had that. But it's interesting, and I'm more than happy to relinquish this space to you. I personally found it a bit frustrating because of the, if you'll pardon the pun, the lens of this film, because it doesn't allow for nuance, but it gives a very go-to, consumable, digestible, not necessarily true to life, being one with the land. That's all.
Yeah, I think the daughters sort of bring that aspect in.
Okay.
I think it was the younger daughter, Nora, who was bringing up all the sort of effects of poaching and what's out there to combat that. And outside of that, they didn't really address it that much, other than just depict them as really sort of the bad sort of villains in the movie.
Yeah. Which
they had to get their comeuppance, and you see them how they get devoured by the bloody lion, So I can understand that because at the end of the day, the way it's being done right now, it's sort of moved away from the sort of back in the day sort of method.
Okay, interesting. And I think, even coming back to our King Kong episode, like the visual portrayals didn't seem to bother you. Maybe if the dialogue was a bit more, sharp shooting, maybe you would have got a bit more frustrated with it. But if you're cool with it, I love it. I just wanted to address, the poaching in the room, so to speak. So the next theme that I have is family squabbles versus survival. This was interesting to me because even once we get through like the first 20 to 40 minutes of establishing the film, there was still a lot of moments that there was squabbling in the film where there are literal lions about to devour you that I thought was quite interesting because I'm like, you need to let that go, bruv. Like, we're trying to survive out here.
Yeah, it was wild. I think the daughters just showed a side of I don't know if it's bravery or fucking courage, but bloody hell, they put their squabbles at the forefront, despite everything else. You had Meredith, the older daughter, pretty much ignoring what Nate says.
Yeah.
Stay in the car. Nah, next minute, she's out of the car.
There's a literal
lion in the vicinity. I'm like, what?
Like, I don't care how mad I am at you, OT. I would never leave the safety of a car just because I'm mad at you. And I'm a petty motherfucker. I'm not 50 Cent petty, but I'm almost there.
Yeah, and it's wild because we all love bloody Shadow Copley, but I'm not getting out of a car to go drag him out when there's a lion in the vicinity.
He had a good run.
Yeah, like, it was good to know you, uncle, but that's how it ends.
We'll see you in hell, you fucking prawn.
But I think that's one of the things where you suspend believability for a bit.
Yeah.
Because no way a father and his two daughters get stuck in a fucking reserve and they do that shit.
Yeah.
Because bloody hell.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not getting out of that car for no one.
Yeah.
I'm staying there until someone else comes and finds me.
What if Halle Berry was out there wanting to be saved?
It was good knowing you,
Okay. Because you see, I said Halle Berry instead of myself because I thought that would get you out of the car. But I thought that was quite interesting. And you're right. It was more so Meredith, not necessarily Nora. But yeah, unless that's like the American sort of like mindset, I don't know. But for me, it's a universal mindset to like survive.
Yeah, it was wild because suspending believability for a bit, Meredith had, you could tell that she was really, really angry at Nate for abandoning them, especially when the mom was sick. And she held him responsible for everything. And that's fair enough. But when you're faced with a lion that can't be killed, that's dodging bullets, that is walking out of a fucking car explosion like Bad Boys.
Michael Bay's next film.
Yeah. You've got to draw a line.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Nora was sort of bringing her back to sort of reality and being like, hey, this is not the time.
Yeah.
This is not the place.
You might not even make it out alive to hold this resentment.
Yeah. Me. Survive for your grudge to live another day.
Yeah.
Oi.
Well, you touched on the next theme that I wanted to go to very perfectly, and it's the supernatural lion. And I don't know, would you say it was more than one? Because I feel like there were more than one lions that we saw that were like this.
Nah, it was the one lion that had his whole pride killed, and it was vengeful as fuck. But it survived a myriad of encounters. Machine guns wouldn't do anything. It was wild.
He was the Baba Yaga of the lions. Well, we're looking out for the Continental. I'll be looking forward to see if they have a lion department. But I want to talk about it. Do you genuinely believe, because you keep talking about suspending belief, which I love because we're in Africa and it's very real, based in real life. But you've been saying suspending belief for so much of this. do we need to suspend belief? Or are we actually saying that there's some sort of supernatural or law in regards to this lion resisting and being able to thrive?
Well, they brought in mythology around a phenomenon that has lions that have lost their pride. Hunting down the poachers.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a supernatural thing. I think that's just basic instinct, if you'll pardon the pun.
But lions don't behave like that. You know, lions don't come and fucking hunt you like that, you know?
Well, when you cut them off from the pride, they do. But I don't think that's a supernatural component. So why are these lions, why is this lion not dying is my question.
No, I think that's whatever this lion was doing is fucking supernatural, because I've never had or seen a lion behave this way. But how it was just, I don't know, maybe revenge is a very strong motivator. It's taking some punches and some kicks, dodging bullets like Neo. You know, nothing could touch him up until, you know, and I think the most, I don't know if you could call it poetic thing, is the only thing that stopped it is another lion or other lions.
Okay, I have a theme for that. So we'll leave that to the side for the second. While we're talking about the supernatural lion, whether the lion was supernatural or not, we need to talk about Nate. Like, we need to talk about Nate. And I kind of hinted at it when we were talking about first impressions. I'm not for toxic masculinity, friends and lovers. But if there was If there was ever a time for toxic masculinity, isn't it to fucking save Nora from a fucking lion? He was like shouting advice from the bottom of the Jeep. And I'm like, get the fuck out and go and save your daughter. Oh, hide, make sure he can't see you. And the lion's on the top of the Jeep and you're still trying to yell advice? Cyril Figgis or otherwise?
Well, you know, there's a thing, you know, when you go on an airplane and they say like, don't try and fucking put a face mask on your kid. Do it on yourself first. That's the same scenario here. What's good of him coming under that Jeep for him to be mauled? There's no reason. Stay safe. Make sure your kid can hear the instructions. And until the situation is neutralized or you're safe to come out, that's the only situation where you can come out. Because we saw him, I know you're jumping towards the end of the movie, but when he had like walking out and just saying like, fuck it, I'll fight this lion. Yeah. I'm like, bruv. There's
the whole time.
Dozen couple of times you would have died by then.
The whole time. Like the whole time. Like, do you want a medal because you're taking a stand now? You left Nora in the fucking car.
No, like not even a medal bit, but wow. I think that lion was wearing like oven mitts because I don't understand how he wasn't torn to shreds within the first 2 seconds.
He had a little scratch.
He was battling with a fucking lion and he lived to tell the tale with just fucking minor scratches here and there. Nah, bruv. Come on now. Come on.
I just like, you know.
They treated that lion like Goro, you know?
You still haven't healed from that, have you?
No, I've not.
Go and check out our Mortal Kombat episode, friends and lovers.
That lion had Goro energy all over it. You know it's big. You know it's tough. You know it's badass. You know it can beat pretty much most of the people there. But nah, you'll get that one person who will fucking defy logic.
Just say people aren't reading your Goro sex fan fiction. Just say that, because that's the pain I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, that'll be a separate podcast.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, that line was very interesting. And then, you know, obviously if I'm going to Kyle Katie Brovlowski it, like they put this lion in a circumstance that, you're right, isn't in their nature. So fuck shit up, my friend.
And to some degree, I was with the lion. Like, what the fuck?
You bothered me.
Yeah, you killed everyone in my pride.
Yeah.
I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to kill you. And I was like, yes, do that.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter that Nate, Meredith, Nora weren't there for it.
Yeah.
But, mate.
He said, fuck you. Fuck the click you claim. Fuck your thumbs.
Exactly.
Fuck your standing upright. I'm coming for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Poacher, anti-poacher, you're all the fucking same. I'm coming for you.
As long as you're fucking walking with your fucking 2 legs, nah, you're out.
Rampage! Nah, but I was like, yeah, leave these fucking animals alone. And if you're not going to leave them alone, come for your ass. And another thing, if we're talking about Dr. Nate, what was up with him? Like, I get that because, friends and lovers, go and listen to our 4 blocks, as Katie Hamadi told you, go and listen to our 4 blocks because I really go into detail about the difference of nationality and ethnicity. And we see that very clearly with Dr. Nate's character because he's absolutely a black man, but he is very American. He is very American. And a side note, did he go to the Carl Urban School of Accents? Because usually he does quite a good American accent. Or is it when he got very scared? Because I could hear the flickers of like a British accent.
To be honest, I didn't know he was meant to be American until he said it.
Well, I was asking to clarify and we were both a bit confused.
I was like, oh, bro, did you just say New York?
From where?
Oh, wow. I just assumed they're all Brits.
But the way he navigated was very confusing to me because, like I said, survival is universal, but he was acting very American, very Western in the sense that, when you have Martin trying to tell him how to find the tower and he's like, it's the only man-made thing. How the fuck this motherfucker can't find a fucking tower? Like... I'm like, help yourself, mate. Like, if you're not going to help your daughter from getting ravished by a lion, help yourself.
Yeah, the moments of disbelief with Nate specifically, where you'd assume that he'd take ownership or charge in a situation.
Yeah.
And that's where the daughters, either Meredith or Nora, would come in. I'm like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Come on now. You should not even let this situation fly like that.
Like, there's a reason why he's estranged because he wasn't fucking helpful or he just didn't like his daughters. I don't know.
The last scene, or it was the end of the movie where the last scene, he gets the Jeep, they start driving, he sees an abandoned house and he's like, it's better I take you, I take Meredith to go and, treat her there so she's better. But Nate enters the bloody room and doesn't close anything. He knows there's a bloody lion. There's a pride of lions somewhere there. There's lions everywhere.
Yeah.
They're running from one.
Yeah.
And he doesn't close any door. He doesn't close any window. He opens everything and leaves it open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know you're scared. I understand that. But that's just some basic survival shit.
Dumb. Just dumb.
Especially for a black fella, You don't go opening doors and not closing them when you're being attacked.
Because at least if you hear like a disturbance, you know where it's coming from.
Yeah, he had some white energy there. I'm like, what?
I say Western, OT says white, apparently. No, but you're right. There were so many questionable things that he did. And I'm like, this is a beautiful lesson in nationality and ethnicity because why was he navigating in such ridiculous ways?
Doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in.
Yeah.
Black people will fucking close the doors.
Well, not him.
Apparently not.
Not him.
Especially in some jungle, being chased by a lion, and you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna open all the doors.
Yeah,
I'm gonna open all the windows.
Why don't they consult you for their black fella scripts?
Will Parker was there. Close the doors.
Keep Will Packer's name out your fucking mouth, OT. Yeah, there was just like, I don't know, like, there's a lot of talk about Idris Elba's, like, this is one of the first or maybe one of the few sort of roles he has where he's vulnerable. And I don't agree with that because he wasn't emotionally vulnerable and he just let his daughters throw to the wayside. That's not being vulnerable. That's being careless and negligent.
He was not the best dad. No. And he admitted as much. Yeah. At the very least. He was like, yeah, I've not been the best dad. I'm here now. I'm going to step up.
But usually when people say I'm not the best dad, they'll still try and save you from a lion.
True. But then where's the line? There's no guide. There's no guide to say that you've got to rescue your daughters from lions no matter what. You've got to lock the doors to make sure no one can enter the house while you're being chased. Uh-huh. There's no manual for that shit. So I'm not going to hold him accountable when, he's just trying out here.
And and friends and lovers, this is why we don't talk about OT's previous lives and previous wives, because it sounds like you've left a lot of kids out to the lions.
What were we watching? I think it was 90 Day the Tell-All, and you'd have
Kobe
come in and say, you know what? At the age of 3, the kid had to, and the kid had to manage his own affairs. That's the energy. 3 years old, bruh, you're old enough. Manage your own affairs.
You're also missing the context because he wanted to continue to suck titty and not the kid.
And that's empowerment.
Kenya through way of Cameroon, am I right?
Yeah.
We are cinephiles of quality, but we are TVers of trash, friends and lovers. Go and watch 90 Day Fiancé. We have a lot of time for that. What I don't have a lot of time for, it's the last theme on my list, and we can also go to characters as well. It's the power of lion friendship.
We had Martin Short's that, him hugging the lions, understanding the difference or when he can approach or when he can stay back. And you know what? He raised those lions, since they were cubs, and he understood them. So, I was like, okay, more power. What I didn't buy, though, is, and I get that the lions are territorial, and if a stray lion would come near a pride, it's a job for them to protect.
Mm-hmm.
But if a lion is attacking another human being, I'm here sitting thinking, is that lion going to interfere there? Is that going to intercede? And then not only defeat the lion that had trespassed, but leave the bloody man. You can smell the blood. It's all there for the taking, and just leave it.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me all those lionesses be like, yeah, let's just chill here. We can smell the blood, but you know what? We're not gonna come for it.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Actually, you're right. So not only do we have a lion branch of the Continental in the Jonathan Wickerson series, we also have a lion branch of the Cullens in Twilight. Maybe they were like vegetarians, so they didn't feast on humans.
Maybe they're getting their blood from, the clinic at the corner.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But it made no sense, and it was so frustrating because it talked about how dangerous these fucking lions are, and then the power of lion friendship just tied everything into a neat, tidy bow. But I guess I would like to dabble into lion cinema because I would like to see the way that they portray humans, because we're portraying lions being our best friends, but I'm pretty sure it's the opposite way around.
Yeah. I think the disconnect here for me was I could get that, the rogue lion had to go. It had trespassed into a territory that's not his, and that's a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I understand that. They explained it early in the movie
Animal
as well.
Kingdom and all that, yeah.
But you have a bleeding man down there. Nowhere that guy walks out.
Some prime rib.
Yeah, that's just some lazy ass dinner for you,
We didn't get to address Martin's character, and again, we're kind of coming to nationality and ethnicity again. Dr. Nate, I seem to have a lot of qualms, quarrels, and quandaries when it comes to Dr. Nate. But so I get that he's American, or as we've established from the accent, potentially he's American, yeah? So he's in America, and as far as we understand, he met his wife in America, yeah? But his wife is from South Africa. His wife is from the same village, and Martin, I don't know if we're going to talk about it. I've got time, but I don't know if we're going to talk about it because he kept visiting the village, but he's not from the village. There was a rooster in the coop. But yeah, so what I didn't get, or what I personally didn't understand, because let's be very clear, for all of the qualms, quarrels, and quandaries that I had with Dr. Nate, that would be me. That would be me and our dog in Kenya if you weren't there. Like, I know I wouldn't be useful. I wouldn't be able to save anyone, and I would definitely meet my end inside of a lion's mouth. I understand that. But what I didn't understand is he was married to her, and they had to have been together for a good chunk of time. He never went to visit her village.
It doesn't seem like he ever visited.
Because it's not even about whether he can speak the language or not. It's like everything was new to him. Like when And I also shout outs because the little plane was called Impala Air, which I thought was very nice. But he didn't seem to have any sort of like contextual clues of what was around him.
Yeah, he's an American boy. He he needs the landmarks to know where he is, which are far in between in Africa, especially in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand him not knowing where he was, but there was he had mentioned that, oh, it's been a while, you still have these pictures here. So meaning that he's been there, or at least he's been to Martin's house before. It's just been a long, long time. You know, shit's been forgotten.
Okay, interesting. And what was there anything that was? I'm going to 60-minute you if you're nasty. Was there anything stirring within you to see a black man know much, much less about the motherland of the white man?
Felt wrong, man.
No, I thought we would have a good giggle gaggle, and I just needed to ask you.
No, it did. I was like, mate, you need to do more research here. Your wife is from that place. Yeah. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying you even need to know more than Martin. Just know the basics.
Yeah.
Know the basics of the place.
Yeah.
Know where, know how to know where your wife's village was.
Uh-huh.
You know how to say hello. Yeah, I expected him to do more or to do better there.
Because like at the start of the film, the visual is undeniable. You can visually it and whether you have a conflict with it, I guess, is up to you, friends and lovers. But visually, I was kind of uncomfortable with it. Even him being the expert of the reservation and of all of the animals, it kind of bothered me. But also, if you go on safari, friends and lovers, you're probably going to see white people at the head of at least the bigger successful sort of tourism operators, right? So I was like, okay, fine, I'll work within myself to accept that. But to be fair, as the film continued going, it was made very clear that Dr. Nate knew shit all. Like, aside from being a doctor, like, he didn't know anything.
Yeah. And that was underwhelming. He needed to do the work.
He did need to do the work. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to say about Martin's character?
No, he was a good uncle. He resonated well with the daughters. He understood them. He showed interest in Meredith's work.
Uh-huh.
You could tell that they were really close with the wife, which I always thought there would have definitely been something there.
Yeah. We didn't see the little Shaltos in the credits.
Yeah. But he was an overall good character, to have. And that he sort of encapsulated the sort of symbolic father role for the girls that Nate couldn't do. He sacrificed himself for the girls. He gave advice. He was there. He listened. And yeah, man, he could not put a foot wrong in this.
No, I don't think there was a moment where he would have been given an opportunity to not be perfect in relative to like Dr. Nate's character. He kind of was the perfect character. He kind of brought something different to the film as well. Like, he kind of felt like he had the reins of what was happening around them. But yeah, I loved having him there. The White Saviour sort of, not on a grand scale, but friends and lovers, go and check out our District 9 episode. Shout outs to our lovely Sweetie boys, Film Busters. To this day, it's our biggest podcast, 5 people on the mic. But yeah, like, obviously it was different, and we're seeing a different side of South Africa because obviously in District 9 we're tackling more sort of entrenched themes with the country's history. But it was very like, it was undeniable, but maybe it just happened to be, But again, when you have a white man knowing more about Africa than a black man, even though he's from America, like, visually, it created a complex, is all I'm saying. Friends and lovers, if you haven't already watched Riders of Justice, you should, and listen to our episode on it, because that is a beautiful example of a father trying to navigate grief with his daughter. So I would recommend you go and watch that. I just wanted to talk a little bit because we've been out with the lions, we've been out with the supernatural power of friendship. I kind of just want to talk about grief just very briefly, because that's kind of the catalyst of this film. And it kind of creates the dynamic that never would have been created with, Dr. Nate and his daughters. What were your thoughts on the way that he was not even handling? What were your thoughts on the way he was choosing to not handle the situation of grieving his wife and, coming together with his daughters?
He handled it like crap. I think he admitted as much. He said that he didn't know and he missed the signs and the signals. And when he left, he just, it's one of those things that he regrets. So I can have some sympathy for him there, that it all happened after he was outside.
Mm-hmm.
But once he found out, it seemed like he waited up until the wife was dead for him to come in.
But where was he in the last year? Because that's what Meredith was saying. Where were you in the last year?
Yeah, and that's what I was like, bro. Come on now.
Who are you? Dream from Sandman?
Yeah, maybe he was captured underworld, man. But yeah, I think that was one of the things that his flaws as a character, in as much as we don't get much character development for him, he does at least see the error of his ways and he's trying to be there.
Yeah.
So at the start of the movie, he's fully aware of what he needs to do. At the end of the movie, it's more, okay, we fucking survived, so let's hopefully this will be a nice bonding opportunity for us.
Okay.
Rather than, oh, I've done the work. I need to, because there's still no connection with the daughters outside of, saving them, which maybe creates that bond.
And I think, I think it makes sense. I can understand why they melded together like survival, literal survival with, reconnecting with his daughters. But I do think adding that element of survival kind of took away from the core, because the core was the relationship between Nate and his daughters. And I don't think that was necessarily explored or developed through the storyline of survival. Case in point, leaving Nora in the Jeep. Like if it was used to bolster the growth and the connection between his daughters, I think it would have done quite well. For me, if they had stayed in New York and focused on that grief element, I think that would have been a more compelling, or maybe that would have revealed that there wasn't any sort of compelling through lines with Nate.
Yeah, I hear that. I think one of the biggest qualms for me at the very least is we get these movies shot in Africa about, safari and whatnot.
Yeah.
But hey, the poacher guy head is a white guy. The guy running the safari lodge is a white guy. I'm like, bro, come on now.
Feel it, OT.
You get the black people in the background, being the ones eating fast. I'm like, come on. Why couldn't the leader of the poachers be a black guy from South Africa? Because they had a couple of actors from there.
Yeah.
It's not that the talent wasn't there.
Is this your White Lotus?
I'm just saying, a lot of the time, especially we're in fucking 2022, you gotta do better in that regard. It doesn't have to be, oh, let's just put the white faces there because I don't know. I understand most of these lodges are run by white folks. Give an African guy the poacher role. I'm just saying.
Hey, don't do that.
They don't have to be in the background subservient to some fucking man.
Yeah.
They can kill other animals for their profit by themselves.
Yeah.
They can do bad by themselves. Tyler Perry said so as well. Give them the opportunity, bro.
Are you working with Tyler Perry?
Yeah. Now, that's just one of the things that I took note of and I saw. I was like, come on now, man.
Like how? How in the 2020s are we making films about, not even, if we're not even talking about like Nate's family, how are we in the 2020s setting a film in Africa and not having African leads? Black African leads, let me make a distinction.
And just not even prominent. He wasn't in a prominent position because the poacher guy was barely shown, but he had lines.
And can we talk about how brutally all the black Africans were killed?
Yeah, but like even the only person who was African and had some lines was Camo.
Yeah.
Who was black African was Camo, and he was shown for a second flirting with Meredith or some shit.
Yeah.
Just there can be I don't know. It just felt like a missed opportunity. But then it's not fucking Will Parker's job. It's just one of those things that I saw as an African and I was like, fucking hell.
Live and die in Africa.
Exactly.
But don't get casted, right?
Don't get casted.
Get castigated.
We'll be in the background getting eaten fast. But it's all good. It's all right. We'll get our screams at least, in there.
I'm glad we found your White Lotus, OT.
Nah, no, it's not even to that degree. It's just one of those things that I was like, yeah, come on. And it's Will Parker. I think that's what's more disappointing. It's by black people, and I'm like, yeah.
Hey, I thought you were a united front in a public space.
We are. I can still say it because I come with my bias.
Who are you fighting?
So I'm not fighting anyone.
I'll fight you. Don't fight Will Packer. I'll fight you.
Well, they don't need to do shit, and they showed that they did need to do shit. But it's one of those things I was like, it's a missed opportunity. Just there's people out there. It's easy to get them. They're everywhere.
Well, I guess it's high time we support localized talent, right? Telling their own fucking stories, right, OT?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm feeling spicy after hearing OT's Jupiter's cock in my ear. We're going to finish off in a segment we call For Your Reference. OT.
If you want to watch Idris in another African movie, I'd recommend Sometimes in April. It's about the genocide in Rwanda.
Yeah, just to keep it light, hey?
Just to keep it light.
I am traveling to Nairobi, OT, would you believe?
Oh, welcome. Karibu.
You doing the shucking and jiving for the tourists?
Yeah.
On their way to the village to take a picture with the kids?
Oh, for sure. I'll be pausing with you.
So this is a wonderful Kenyan film. It's also available on Netflix. It's got themes of literal survival from the wildlife as well as survival from human sort of dynamics. It's interesting. It keeps you on the tip of your toes, and it also centers blackness. Mm-hmm. If you would like to know how we center blackness on Twitter and Instagram, we're at For Your F1.
Write us an email at hello@f1podcast.com.
We're also, Idris is a daddy, but he'll leave you to fend for yourself in the Jeep podcast if you'd like to leave a rating and review. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.